Imagine you wake up one day and there's hair all over your pillow. You think nothing of it. You've had long, thick hair your whole entire life. You go about your day, but as you're going about your day, you can't seem to ignore it anymore. You're brushing your hair, all of your hair is falling out. You take a shower, clumps of hair are falling out, it's all over your clothes. You don't know what to do. Still, you ignore it because you have no idea what's going on. A few days later, family members and friends start to notice patches on your hair and behind circular patches and say, what happened? And you have no idea, so you go to a dermatologist. This is what we would call alopecia areata. I've researched alopecia areata a lot. I've had it since I was 17 and I am 24 years old now, so I know a lot of information about it. Alopecia areata is incredibly challenging and the hair loss is very unpredictable. Scientists are still a little confused why it happens or the causes of it. But today I'm going to inform you about what it is, so symptoms and causes of it, treatment options that are available, and then the emotional and psychological impact it can have on an individual. According to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, alopecia is an incredibly challenging disease since it's so unpredictable and hair growth can come and go at any time. So what is it? Alopecia areata is an autoimmune condition that results in hair loss from the scalp or body. There are 3 different types of alopecia. The first one is alopecia areata. Areata means patches according to the National Areata Foundation, and patches, so areata, you'll get circular patches in your hair, and then there's alopecia totalis, which is full hair loss of the scalp, and then the last one, the most severe kind, is alopecia universalis, which is where you have total hair loss of your entire body. So according to a book called Alopecia Areata by Petra Miller, autoimmune diseases were found in 1950s because scientists discovered antibodies were attacking other antibodies in the body and thought that healthy cells were foreigners. So in my case, alopecia areata, my immune system attacks my healthy hair follicles because it gets confused and thinks that they are foreigners and they're trying to harm my body. So I just talked about what alopecia areata is and symptoms you can look for. Causes, it's still unknown. Scientists think that it could be environmental factors, genetics, even air quality or a viral infection you get. That's why it's so hard, because we still don't really know the cause of it. Next, I'm going to be talking about treatment options. So treatment options for alopecia areata. The first line of defense is topical creams. There's one called clobetasol solution, which you just put on your spots, and oftentimes the hair will grow back. Sometimes it will grow back and then fall out if your alopecia is progressing. The next line of defense is steroid injections, where the dermatologist will inject steroids into the spots you have with a tiny needle. And then the third line of defense is an oral treatment option, which is called a JAK inhibitor. These just came out of the clinical trials a few years ago. So they're fairly new and there's not a lot of research on them. According to the American Association of Dermatology, these JAK inhibitors could have adverse effects, and since they're so new, we don't have a lot of studies on them yet and what they are. So I just talked about what alopecia is, the symptoms and causes of it, treatment options. Lastly, I'm going to be discussing the emotional and psychological impacts it can have on an individual. So alopecia areata is a really hard disease because only 2% of the population suffers from it, as I said, and it has to do with how we look on the outside. So in my case, I was born with all my hair. I'm used to viewing myself and my image as someone with hair. And so when that happened suddenly, it led to a lot of psychological stressors and impacts on my life. The National Alopecia Areata Foundation recommends to reach out for help or support groups from counselors if you are having feelings of withdrawal, isolation, sadness, and hopelessness, because definitely finding a community can help a lot with this condition. So today I informed you about what alopecia areata is, the different types, symptoms and causes, the treatment options that are out there if you have it, and lastly, where to find help if you are struggling with how to cope with it. While there are treatment options available now that we are very fortunate for, ongoing research is still happening.